Hey everybody, it's Dave DK Mode 83. I'm back again. I know I keep disappearing and coming back, but this announcement might explain a lot of the reason for that why. I've really been transitioning in my fragrance journey from collecting and reviewing to creating my own fragrances, which I've been doing now for about 5 years, and I'm talking like me creating them. I'm the perfumer. I'm just experimenting, having fun because I love to do it, for one. And two, because I've become so sensitive to the aroma chemicals that are so common in perfumery now that a lot of the new fragrances I just can't even really wear. Like I almost have to put them on clothes or they irritate my skin or my nose. They're just so harsh. And I just miss the days of old with the real ingredients, quality ingredients in the base notes like Robes talks about all the time, like on Brox and Bombs or Amberline or any of the Ambricides. You don't need me to go on. There's so many chemicals out there. At this point, I feel like my nose is pretty decent. I put my nose on at least 5,000 fragrances and pretty much every natural sourced ingredient I could get my hands on at this point. So I'm hoping that qualifies me in some way, but we'll find out. I really did this more for myself and my own journey, and I'm just trying to share it with the world. And if people like it, great. If they don't, that's okay too. I'm just gonna keep doing my own thing. That's me. So what did I call my fragrance line? I chose to call it Scentsory Fragrances for a couple reasons. The main reason I got into fragrances originally was when I hurt my back in 2008 and I could no longer golf, so it really became like an obsession almost for me then, because when I'm having pain, I have some nerve pain in my legs. So when I'm really bad, I will sniff my wrist and it will refocus me and sometimes connect to memories or something positive. Either way, it distracts me from the pain and makes my day better. So it's a huge part of my everyday life. And for that reason, I thought it was time to just start making stuff I like. And let's see if some people like it now. So the other reason I said Scentsory is it's kind of a play on words there because fragrances tell a story to me and they're so connected with memories. So that's why I came up with the name. Again, we're using pretty much all natural ingredients wherever possible, not a lot of aroma chemicals. I will put a little bit of Iso E Super and I think it's Hedioin, in a few fragrances. That's mainly just to improve projection, because when you use mostly naturally sourced ingredients, it just doesn't project that well, it turns out. That's not true for this fragrance, though. Amber Dance is the exception. Actually, Maddie's Mango Patch also projects quite well as well. So, Amber Dance is the first fragrance I want to introduce. This is an ode to amber, or real ambergris, which has a lot of it in there. I really love real ambergris. I missed it so much. I'm so glad I got my hands on it. And anyway, what is in this guy besides a lot of ambergris? Top, we have ambergris, black pepper, cinnamon bark, grapefruit, lavender, pineapple, and yuzu. A mid of ambergris, dried fruit, geranium, rose de mai, and sandalwood. And a base of ambergris, labdanum, oud, siam benzoin, tonka bean, Tolu balsam, Virginia cedar, and vanilla. So what does this one actually smell like? For me, it obviously is primarily ambergris, like real ambergris, which has an almost, I guess, acrid, like sweet baby's head smell. I personally love it. I think a lot of people do, but it might not be for everyone. If you don't like real ambergris, or you have any concerns about that, this might not be for you. But for someone like me that's looking for something like that with high quality, this would be something to probably try. So it reminds me a little bit, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but it does remind me a little bit of Amber Oud from Roja. And I think that's because he also uses a lot of real ambergris, and you can smell the difference. So I'm just trying to think of another fragrance that has that similar overdose of ambergris vibe to it, and I can't come up with one at the moment. So sorry, I'm not Roja. I don't have extensive training. I've just been doing this. I love it, and I hope it smells good to somebody else besides me. So that is Amber Dance. That one's also on my website, scentsoryfragrances.com. I do have a sample pack of each of these fragrances, so it contains a sample pack of 6 1 ml sprayers of each of these fragrances for $35 shipped US. Unfortunately, I cannot do free shipping in outside the US. It's just too darn expensive. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could. The US, I can stomach it and eat it, but I just can't internationally. So there is a flat rate for that. What's up next? We have Cardamom. Now, this is one of the first fragrances I created. Cardamom is one of my all-time favorite notes. It's a prominent note in La Nuit de l'Homme, which is one of my favorites, as you guys know. Also, Jerks Off Starlight, which I have had this compared to by a few people that have tried it. I don't disagree in the top because it is very prominent with cardamom and some citrus. But this one goes in its own direction very quickly, and it's a completely different experience for me from Xerxoff Starlight, whereas that is more one note. This really transitions into the bass and the middle, or the middle, then the bass, then the dry note. Anyway, I really highly recommend this if you are a fan of cardamom or you like Xerxoff Starlight. This is definitely something to check out. Next up, Gourmand City. Now, I honestly probably could have called this one Saffron City because it has a pretty hefty dose of saffron in it to the point that it can stain your clothes as well as your hand. It can make your hand yellow for a little bit. So just be careful when you're applying this one. I have not figured out a way to get rid of the hue of actual saffron when you use real saffron, not safralene or any of those chemicals, but actual saffron, because of how red real saffron is. When you break it down, there's no way to get rid of that color that I've found. If somebody knows how to do that chemically without screwing up my scent, let me know down below, because I have not figured that out, and I don't want to start using fake saffron. Not going to do it. So, what is actually in this one? We have a top of anise seed, apple, a mid of cocoa, saffron, smoke, and tobacco, and a base of ambergris, birch tar, musk, oud, cian benzoin, tonka bean, and vanilla. What does this one actually smell like? To me, I mean, some people may say this isn't a gourmand for them, which I can understand, but for me it is. It is a very smoky, almost leathery, buttery, cocoa vanilla fragrance. That's the best way I can describe it. It is, I love it. It's very smoky. It's very different. I haven't smelled anything really like this before, and I'm really hoping that people like this one as well. So that is Gourmand City. Next up is Maddie's Mango Patch. So this one was actually, I created this with my daughter. She has started to be passionate about this as well, watching her dad do it, so we make some fragrances together, and this is one that she had a huge hand in, and it was a dang home run, man. I love this stuff. I would call this probably a cheapre, even though it has a prominent patchouli note in it. It is primarily a mango forward scent. So, top you have anise seed, apple, ginger, and lavender. Mid, mango, patchouli, and sandalwood, and a base of myrrh, cian benzoin, and Virginia cedar. I would say this one is mostly, like the name says, mango patch, mango and patchouli, but there are other things supporting it, obviously. The most important thing with this one is the first person I sent this to got a compliment wearing this after swimming in a chlorinated pool for 4 hours, which to me is insane because chlorinated pools will eat anything. So I'm assuming that's using high quality real patchouli oil, and you know, that stuff lasts for ages. We've all smelled hippies before, but I personally love it. It's a very chocolatey patchouli, so it's almost like a chocolate covered mango scent is the best way to describe it. It works, I think, year round, even though patchouli is kind of heavy. I think it's very versatile, and I love it. I've honestly started wearing this anytime I would reach for a Ventus. So that's Maddie's Mango Patch. Next up, we have my precious, my baby. Oh, I love you so much. This is Rose Bomb. This was the first fragrance I created, what I set out to create, and why I started doing this in the first place. So, why am I saying all that? I don't know if you guys will remember this fragrance or not, but you can find a review. Maybe I'll put a link down below here, but I reviewed it maybe a decade ago. It was called Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Lumiere Noir Pour Homme, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. And to this day, it is still a 10 out of 10 fragrance for me. That is a prominent rose, cinnamon, and cumin fragrance. This one doesn't have the cumin, but it's in the same style, the same vein, a very spicy, warm, almost red or orange hued colored rose. That's what I went for with this. It is a floral scent, but it is very spicy. Most of the comments of people I've had not enjoy it is that it's either too spicy or too floral. So take what you will. I don't think it's an overwhelmingly dominant rose fragrance, even though I called it Rose Bomb, because there is so much going on. So what is actually in this guy? In the top we have cardamom and davana. Mid we have Bulgarian rose, cinnamon bark, rose de mai, and tobacco. And a base of ambergris, amyris, Haitian vetiver, rose labdanum, musk, tonka bean, and vanilla. So a lot of stuff going on there. I would honestly say the most prominent notes are definitely the cinnamon and the rose. It's a very cinnamon covered dusty rose. That's what I went for, and I love it. It lasts on my skin 24 hours, projects fairly well, and yeah, if you don't like cinnamon or rose, might not be for you, but yeah, I would highly recommend checking it out. I think I created a hell of a fragrance here. I know I'm very biased, but this is one that I wear all the time. I would bathe in this if I could. Anyway, that is Rose Bomb. And finally, this one is called Tee Me Up. Well, I just talked about golf. This is kind of an ode to golf and teeing it up, but it is a tea-based fragrance. Ever since I smelled oolong cha and also the tea note that is in Lidge Lance Ante Galant Extreme, I know it's not a tea-based fragrance, but it is there if you go looking for it. I really wanted to create my own tea-based scent, and I just really didn't like oolong cha. I wanted to, but I didn't. Just couldn't. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the tea note. I didn't really like the matcha 29 that much either, but I do love tea. So, what did I put in this one? We have a top of bitter almond, ginger, heliochrysum, lemon, nutmeg, and yuzu. You guys can tell I'm a very big fan of yuzu. I think it's should be used way more. That's just me. Mid of green tea, tolu balsam, and vanilla, and a base of ambergris, tonka bean, and Virginia cedar. So a little bit more simple, other than what's going on at the top. But what does it actually smell like, or what will you experience? For me, it's like if I went to have tea with the queen and she served me like yuzu zest and lemon cookies, and you dip it in like your green tea and eat all that together. That experience, the regal nature of it, that's what I went for, and that's what I think I've created here. I do think there is a fair amount of sweetness coming from the vanilla, kind of balancing things out, but it is primarily a vanilla, citrus, and tea scent. That's what I would describe it as. Very versatile and lasts quite a long time as well. So, like I said, those are my 6 fragrances for now. I have at least 5 or 6 in process right now that I'm working on, trying to get the formulas quite right. We're not there yet. Who knows when that's going to happen. I won't release anything till I think it's ready. But right now I'm working on a couple. There's a leather scent that I'm going to call Rawhide that's pretty close. I'm really excited about one that I don't know if the name will change, but right now I'm calling it Stank Nasty, which that's an oud-based fragrance. And I'm talking real oud, not synthetic oud. So it's kind of stank nasty. I got my hands on, believe it or not, some Mysore sandalwood. So I am working on a Mysore sandalwood scent. I don't know if I'll release that one or not, or if that'll just be me. It depends on if I can get my hand on more Mysore sandalwood or not. And then what else? That's good enough for now. Excuse me. I'm also very excited about a orris root-based fragrance, or iris fragrance that I'm working on. So I have a lot in the works as well. I'm on my website, the offer of a custom bespoke fragrance. I'm willing to work with anyone that is wanting to have their own custom-made fragrance made by myself. I think I explained the process pretty well on there. It starts with kind of going through and talking about what you like, what you're hoping for, and then I make 8 drafts. If you like any of them, great. If not, then we start over, and then we kind of go from there and fine-tune it until we get a formula you like. So if that sounds interesting to you, check my website out as well. For that, sensoryfragrances.com, as well as the sample pack and those 6 bottles. Like I said, free shipping in the U.S. I can't offer that internationally yet. I wish I could. Maybe if I get, if this takes off or something, sure. But right now, I'm just hoping that people are interested in smelling this and have missed me. But I really missed you guys. I'm excited to be back. I'm really excited to announce this. Like I said, there's no brand deals here. There's no secret perfumer. This is just Dave doing his thing. I hope that's interesting to people. If it's not, that's okay. I don't feel like I wasted my time at all. I love this stuff, man. If I miss fragrances. So I'm also going to be going live. Yeah, believe it or not, Q&A live session with Dave, 10 p.m. tomorrow. It depends on this post. 10 p.m. August 2nd, Central Time. I'm going to be going live on my YouTube channel. Anybody's willing or wants to ask me anything about making fragrances, my collection, YouTube, whatever you want, I'm happy to be there, and hope people can join me. I've missed you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.